And so like, we're really good at what we do. Other people are really good at what they do too. So we want to put our heads together and we want to make it 1+1 is greater than 2. So we lean into the advice and insights of our franchise owners very heavily. And it's a huge part of our system. And yeah, again, it's baked into our DNA where it's like, again, I happen to be the face of the company as the CEO of the brand, but I'm a really small part of it. And it's the team that makes it so great. Yeah, I get to be privileged in the seat that I sit in and listen to all these great ideas and, help boost the ones that I think are the best. Ultimately, most of the ideas don't come from me. They come from our team.
What's going on, Pizza Fam? Look, I appreciate each one of you for listening to this show, listening to this episode. Before we get back to it, I wanted to tell you about my favorite product right now, Todd's Curry Sauce. I met these guys at the Florida Restaurant Show, Pizza Tomorrow Summit, and I'm telling you, ever since I tried that sauce, I have been putting it on everything in the shop. Chicken wings, pizza, you've seen the pizzas, chicken sandwich, salad dressing, like we've been putting Todd's Curry Sauce on everything, and I'm here to give you a special deal, special offer. Go to their website, toddscurrysauce.com, use code Pizza King, and get 10% off your next order. I promise you, you only need to try it one time. It's going to be the best curry sauce you ever tasted in your life. You're going to start putting it on all kinds of stuff in your shop, even at home. I got a bottle in the pantry here at the house. I got a bottle at the shop. Elliot, Todd, I need another bottle because I'm putting it everywhere. I'm putting it on everything. So go check it out. Use code Pizza King and get 10% off your next order. Peace. Let's get back to it. All right, everybody. We are here with Michael Jacobson from French Florist. Look, I got this, invite to have him on the show, and we were just talking about it before. And at first, I'm like, I don't know if florist resonates completely with the audience. Like, we're a bunch of pizza guys, and I don't know if that resonates with us. But once I took a look into who these guys were, what Michael's been about, what French Florist has been doing, I think it's important for us to learn about different opportunities in and around our own industry because, at the end of the day, we're all business owners. We're all, I'm guessing what we're about to find out is we probably have a lot of similarities.
That's right.
In what we do. So, please, Michael, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and, welcome to Pizza King Podcast and to the Pizza family.
Thanks, Harold. That's fantastic. I appreciate the warm welcome to the Pizza family. I think that a lot of people ask me, can you really make money in flowers? And I think that because so many people ask that, that's where the opportunity is. And I have to imagine that it's kind of similar in the pizza space, where if you own and operate a pizza shop and you're doing it really, really well, it's probably, and money is not the end of at the end of the day. It's a means, it's not the end, right? It's like, what are you going to do with that? And, the freedom and time that it buys you, then what, right? But you have to have a business that allows you to do well financially. So you have the opportunity to go and do more. And a lot of people have asked us, is that possible in the floral industry? I probably would reflect that back and say, like, is that possible in the pizza space? And clearly it is, right? Like, there's good operators and less than great operators. And what the difference is, I don't know. So hopefully I can learn a little bit from you guys as well. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to share all the insights we have about the floral industry. And I'm more than sure that there's some overlap between the two spaces.
I'm sure. And I'll tell you, in our business, you can make money. And what I've learned in doing this for the last 20 years and hundreds of restaurants, it's all about who operates at the store level.
Yeah.
That's usually the difference between, profit and loss is how the store level operator operates that restaurant.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree with that more. I think that we're an emerging franchisor. We we own and operate a lot of corporate owned flower shops. Name of our shop is French Florist. And that's where we come from. We come from small mom and pop kind of equivalent of a pizza shop, but a florist. And we became really great operators. We invested a lot in technology and marketing and all these crazy things that allowed us to do really well. And then we had an opportunity. It's like, okay, we could go open, a bunch of more corporate locations. We could take the technology that we developed and start licensing it out to other florists, or we could franchise. And I used to have a negative stigma with franchising. You would think like Subway or some other brands that maybe like they expanded too fast and the quality was degraded. I remember when I was really young, like I loved Subway, but now it's like, you hear all these stories. It really doesn't. But anyways, to what you were saying, you can have the best systems in the world, and we really do design our franchise offering to be really systematic in the way that our flower shops operate, to try to take out all the boring stuff and automate where the mundane stuff, so that the florists that are operating or the pizza shop owners that are operating can really spend most of their time doing the most important aspects, which is hiring. And ultimately, the folks that run the processes are everything. And the customer experience that people get is based on the people, not always really the processes. So, anyways, couldn't agree with that more. It's the people that run the systems, it's not the systems.
All the time, all the time. It's funny you say that because that is totally my thing. It's I always tell my leaders that I train, look, your job is to take care of your team, and your team will take care of the guests, and the guests will reward you with their repeat business. But if your team hates being there, who wants to spend their money in a place like that?
Yeah, totally. And it's unbelievable. Like if you look at, I have a friend who just started working with a kind of fast casual hamburger joint in close to downtown LA. And it's really up and coming. And what the difference is when I walk in there, at least, is that the staff are incredible. And there's this halo effect that comes with amazing service. I can see that he's on the management side and he has a team that's working under him. And he's like just one of the most empowering, nice guys that I know. And so like clearly he's doing something right. And the way that he, looks at it is, look, if you guys treat this customer really, really well, there's going to be a halo effect where they're going to tell their cousins, they're going to tell their mothers and fathers, and oh, maybe they operate a business and they're going to do a catering thing, and that could lead, and then they, their friend has a great experience, and then their friend has a great experience. That chain effect, and like all of a sudden, you have this really cool buzz that's around this little shop, and maybe it's not so little anymore after a couple of years of operating in that halo effect of like what one employee has the ability to do. So, anyways, as a manager or an owner of a business, yeah, that's definitely not to be understated. Is like to empower your team to have that mindset as well. That's spot on.
Absolutely. Team
Yeah,
team experience wins every
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So
But
tell me,
well,
how does that work in your business? And well, also, how many locations do you guys operate, and how many franchise locations are there?
yeah. So we have 4 locations right now. We've opened 3 franchise locations on top of that, and we are expanding to as many as 15 additional locations in 2025. So yeah, we have a lot of inquiries coming in for folks that want to franchise with us. We're saying no more than we're saying yes right now. Talking about people, it's especially because we're in the early phases of franchising. We have great unit economics and the financials look good, and systems and technology are the best in the space. And so we're lucky to be in the position that we are, where we have a lot of folks that want to open with us. But it's a two-way street, right? We need to make sure that they're a great culture fit, and that is going to be a great partnership. It's a little bit like dating, where we're gonna
Especially the early ones.
especially the early ones, yeah, because
They
as
have a
soon
lot of
as we
power.
sign the agreement, it's not dating anymore. Like we're married, and we better love who we're working with. So it's just slow and steady progress on how many we're opening next year.
Are they all in the West Coast? Are they all California West Coast locations right now?
We are really focusing on kind of southwest US. We are working with we're also pursuing a very special type of franchising called conversion franchising. So if it's an existing flower shop that wants to kind of take themselves to the next level and join the French Florist family, that we have the ability to go have a little bit of flexibility and go outside southwest US. So we have some folks in Denver, we have some folks in Florida, we have some folks in Illinois that are really promising candidates. So if you want to open a unit from the ground up, yep, for 2025, it's just southwest US. But for an existing florist, we're
What's
working with
it
a sound.
what's it cost to open a unit?
Yeah. So for a startup, if you're opening this thing up from the ground up, including the franchise fee, including, literally everything, like the first 3 months of operating, the payroll and rent and everything, it starts around 155,000. And then it can go up from there too. It depends on, how high of rent you're paying. If you want a corner, building with a lot of walk-in traffic, how much you want to spend on signage. If you want a 3,000 unit, yeah, 3,000 square feet unit versus a 1,000 square foot unit, it ranges. Right now, the last build was around 185,000, and that includes, yeah, the franchise fee, like everything.
All fixtures, furniture, everything, all in. What's the ideal unit size? Like, what kind of size are you looking for?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we try to target around 1,500 square feet. We have some locations that are 1,000 square feet. We have some that are 2,000. We have really felt in our experience that 1,500 square feet is perfect. Our units do, we are historically, we've never launched a unit that's done less than 900,000 in revenue in the first year. So these units take off pretty quick. In about 1,500 square feet, you could do about 2.5 million out of that location before you kind of outgrow it. So you do about, hopefully about 1 million in the first year, but you got room to grow as well. But it's not so big where, you're overpaying for rent that you're not ever going to use.
So, over 900 first year, average volume somewhere million and a half.
Yeah, well, we have one shop that's doing north of 10 million in revenue, so the averages are kind of skewed.
Yeah, that
That's yeah,
not
and
bad.
But yeah, usually our most recent corporate location did about 1.1 million in the first year. It's in its second year now, and it's on track to do north of 1.7 million this year. We build our territories. Our revenue targets for each shop are between 2 to 3 million in revenue, and that's usually after 4 or 5 years of operating. So, in more
How are the sales distributed? I imagine delivery is a big part of what you do.
100%. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it's the same for you guys as well. So, the way that we operate in our franchise system, at least, is it's really important. I think that I'm sure you guys might be able to relate, especially if you are in the franchise space, where if you're putting a Tyrell's Pizza Shop on the corner of X and Y Street, and then a year and a half later, another Tyrell's Pizza Shop pops up 3 blocks away, who's going to
Territory
get
is
that
everything
delivery?
for us.
Yeah, that's a great system in my mind. Everything that we do, we try to put florists first and the owners first. We need to make sure that they're happy more than anything else. Historically, in the floral industry, there's been a huge lack of technology. If you think of the floral space, it's been like 1-800-Flowers, or these big companies that have dominated, and they're all of those companies aren't florists. They're online brokers, and they'll take an order and they'll syndicate it to a local florist, and they take huge commissions out of those orders, like 30 to 40% commission. Is crazy. So and then they
Never
have
knew that.
in one area. So say you're in Chicago, there's like probably 100 florists that are all partnered with 1-800-Flowers. And so if there's a order in the Chicago zip code, which florist is going to get that order? It's a real thing. And then they start to play these games where it's like, oh, pay marketing dollars to these companies, and the more you pay, the more orders you'll get, right? So
That's
anyways,
really
we're like,
cool.
no, this is not florist first. This is really not the type of system that we want to build, and this is how it's been for decades and decades. So we're like, it's unbelievable that this model has lasted as long as it has, and we feel lucky to be the ones that are challenging that, and always welcome more competition and innovation. But what we're doing is we're granting fully exclusive territory. So if somebody has a set of zip codes, they're locked into those zip codes, and no corporate or franchise location will be able to open in that zip code territory. So if it's going to 90210 Beverly Hills, there's one flower shop, one French florist that operates 90210. It's a Lucky Flower Shop, and they get 100% of the orders that go to 90210. So it's fully exclusive.
What is there ever a problem with fulfillment by having those exclusive rights? Do you run into problems where operationally they just can't handle it?
Not yet. It's a great question. Typically, our operators, again, we have a lot of data, and we try to reverse engineer our territories to achieve between 2 to 3 million in revenue, and we make sure we pick partners that are able to handle that kind of volume. So we haven't run into that kind of a problem yet. We have a lot of our operators want to grow even more than 2 to 3 million in revenue, and we say, great, go ahead and open another flower shop. Try not to make this 2 to 3 million flower shop a 5 to 6 million flower shop. It's just a little bit of a different kind of fulfillment. It's a logistic challenge. Instead, hire a great manager and go and focus on opening a second shop where you have another footprint and can service another area.
Very cool. You mentioned your focus on technology and really changing what has been a lackluster part of the industry for so long. What does that mean?
Yeah. So you'll have to tell me what it looks like in the pizza space as well. But the floral industry, when I came into it, had incredibly antiquated technology systems. And we knew at the time, not only has digital taken over, but we've also crossed that golden threshold of more people are searching on mobile than on their desktop also. When we came in, we said, we're going to develop a bunch of technology that's mobile first, including the operating system that our staff operates on. Like, we're not going to have our staff operate on computers. We're going to have them operate on their phones or iPads and through apps. So yeah, we started with a designer app, and I'll give you kind of a little taste of how it works. But it's really a beautiful system where every role in the company has a very specific app that they use. So the
Okay.
designers have a designer app, and they come in. The time and attendance system is on there. They clock in and clock out, and we built all of this so we don't need to pay ADP or another payroll processor for their time and attendance system. Like, we have it all in there. So they take the iPad app, they clock in, they clock out. As soon as they clock in, they see all the orders that need to be made that day. So they click into the order, and they see the recipe. So now we have digital inventory tracking abilities. They see the card message, any details about the order, the price, the occasion, anything that'll help them make the arrangement with a little more soul and creativity in it, right? Because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then when they finish making the arrangement, they print the card message. So they just push print right on the iPad. There's a printer. So there's the only paper that we have flying around is the card messages that are getting printed, which usually in a traditional flower shop is literally just like tickets and papers flying everywhere. So we digitized and automated all of that. Yeah, it's wild. And so the customer card prints out. It even has their signature on it. So like designed by Tyrell, it would have your own signature on it. So there's a little like a humanizing aspect of like, hey, like there's an artist behind this piece that was made and delivered, and gives the designer some ownership of it too. And then automatically, without the designer doing anything, after they mark the order completed, the driver gets notified. Driver comes and picks up and delivers the order. And all of this, there's a lot of complex stuff that happens in the background, but from the user experience perspective, it's really simple. So like we take into consideration real-time traffic conditions, how the driver is notified, which driver to contact, how long it's going to take to the customer, making sure it gets delivered on time. And, we fulfill our promise on what the customer ordered. If they want it between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m., we're going to get it there at 2:10 p.m. every single time, 10 minutes past the first part of the hour. So it's a lot of technology. And the way that we've done it is we said, we can't use any of the existing technology in the space. And we're going to completely reimagine what it looks like to run a flower shop. We're going to reimagine every single role. And our goal in all of this is to make each person's job way more fun. So like our designers are spending so much time writing down the inventory of what they're using. They're spending so much time trying to read the tickets. We have some designers that are in our, Southern California stores. A lot of our designers don't speak English as their first language. And so it's tough when a customer's ordering something and they're putting specific custom instructions in English and this person is not their native language. They might make a mistake because, if they don't feel confident enough to ask their teammate, like, hey, like, can you check my work and make sure I did this right? Like, I don't know, there's pride behind people's work. And so anyways, our system makes it, yeah, so our system can translate into, Russian or Chinese or Spanish or Portuguese, like whatever. And so it's like, that's so easy, just a quick plug in with Google Translate. And it's not perfect, but it's going to get them 95% of the way. And so anyways, we've really just like reimagined what it means to operate a flower shop and taken all the mundane and automated it and made it a lot more fun, frankly, a lot easier to run flower shops. Like I own and operate
sounds a
three
whole
of
lot
them.
more efficient than what I had in my mind with orders coming in and picking like a fax machine.
I mean, literally, when I came into the existing flower shop that I had purchased and taken over, we had 6 printers, 2 of which were fax machines, and we were required to have those because that's how orders came in.
Wow.
So you're not too far off in saying that's the norm of how the floral industry operates right now. But we're excited to be the ones that are, pushing
it
that
sure
forward
makes
a bit.
people, want to do the job versus coming in to first clean up a mess and then do the job.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, order then gets dispatched. Drivers, are they third-party drivers or are they on payroll?
Yeah, it's a great question. We have shops that do both or one or the other. So more and more we have shops leaning into third-party delivery service providers, DoorDash and Uber and, all of the other third-party DSPs have opened up their APIs and allowed us to plug into them and get real-time quotes and, allow the DSPs to kind of take that over. And so it's expensive to have your own delivery fleet. We have some shops that do it and some shops that don't. I think it's, kind of up to the owner and whatever makes sense. We have, one shop where insurance premiums are just really high in California, right? And so we do a lot more delivery service providers in California. Another state, cost of labor might be a little bit less, and it's a little bit nicer maybe for the recipient if they have a driver who's dressed in the nice kind of French Florist branding stuff and they're coming in a wrapped vehicle. It's a little bit more experiential, and so it's a choice. It's a little bit of a financial cost benefit analysis. If we can have
the
in-house
model
drivers,
allows for both ways.
it does. And we have some shops that do both. Like if, say, we have one shop that's doing about 30 deliveries per day, about $150 average order value. So it's a more premium product. And a driver can usually take about 20 or 22 deliveries in a day. And then so they'll have their in-house driver do as many as, he or she can. And then any overflow, they'll, put out to a delivery service provider. So both are totally no problem.
That's pretty cool. How does corporate support those franchise units?
Yeah, totally. It's a great question. And like probably the most important question, right? Especially in a franchise system, it's, we are combining forces together and what are we bringing to the table, right? That's a very important question.
But there's a yin and yang in franchising always, right?
100%. Yeah, we can't do it without our franchise owners through and through. And they could probably do it without us, but we think they could do it a lot better with us. So that's the sell, right? And we really provide 3 main things. The list is, hundreds of items long on what we're able to provide, but the 3 main buckets of support that we have, the first one is the technology. So, we've owned and operate and built and it's a fully proprietary technology that nobody else has in the industry. We've had a lot of florists want to use our tech. We're keeping it in-house for our French florist owners as a competitive edge. It's the operating system, but it's also like the website front end and back end. The website has a great web architecture, which allows us to rank really highly in search engine optimization. So if somebody's searching flower delivery, San Fran, or flower delivery Chicago, we're going to show up number one. And the web architecture that we have is really important to that. We've done a lot of conversion rate optimizations, a whole bunch of really interesting tech stuff, a lot of mobile, first stuff. We have a mobile app, we have loyalty programs, the list goes on and on. Talked about the designer mobile app. So they get full access to all of that. The second thing we're really good at is supply chain. We don't, again, everything that we do is really florist first. And so we don't require the florist to purchase all of the flowers and hard goods through us. They don't have to, they can purchase through anybody they want. But we're yet to have a franchise owner choose not to purchase through us because we purchase millions and millions of dollars worth of flowers. We import from Colombia, Ecuador, Holland, Canada, Mexico, Thailand. We have some local farms in California. And we're buying so many flowers that we get way better quality flowers and at a much lower price.
Okay.
And then so our franchise owners can tap into our existing pricing, and they're usually getting a 20, 30, or sometimes 40% discount compared to what the florist down the street is paying, and they're getting higher quality flowers as well. We're really good at the supply chain and allow them to tap into that. And then the third bucket of support is, okay, great. You have great technology, you have great supply chain. Cool. It sounds like I have a great running store. How do I get my customers? Right?
Yeah, we need marketing.
Yeah. So the third bucket of support is we are really, really good at increasing order volume. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. Search engine optimization and organic, traffic is really good. But once you acquire that customer, whether it's through organic or a paid channel, what are you doing to retain that customer and build loyalty? How do you build an emotional connection with them and a lifelong relationship with them? So we've gotten really good at that as well, doing some outside the box, surprise and delight things. Every first time customer gets a handwritten note from the local owner, and all of that. Those handwritten notes are written by robots as it's fully automated. Owner doesn't have to do anything, right? And so anyways, we have these like kind of enterprise level resources on the marketing front that we're able to provide them on a local level that allows them to ramp up the average flower shop does 350K in sales. And that's usually like after 10 or 15 years of operating. Again, we're yet to launch a shop here in 2024 right now, into 2024. We're yet to launch a shop that's done less than 900,000 in revenue in the first year. So we're really good at, helping the owner ramp up sales to a pretty profound degree. So those are the three main buckets of support. The list goes on and on, but those are our big ones.
Well, those are all important. And I was going to ask about supply chain, but even before then you mentioned the marketing, the customer retention. And it made me think, what does that look like? How often is a regular customer actually ordering flowers?
Yeah, totally. I'd be really curious about the pizza industry too. Our average customer only purchases 2.2 times per year. So we have some customers that purchase once a year. We have some customers that purchase 8 times a year, but on average, it's 2.2 times per year. So a lot of people think like Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. Yes, you'd be surprised though. Most of our orders are actually happy birthday, happy anniversary, congratulations, sympathy,
Great
thank you,
last
I'm sorry.
minute gifts too, if I might say myself. Next day delivery.
Same day delivery. Yeah.
Same day delivery.
Same day.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even
but
better.
Yeah,
so
we have some
it's
hilarious
great for us
stories.
folks that get busy and forget. We appreciate you all for that. And if your technology is making that happen even faster and cheaper, thank you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, a pizza customer.
Pleasure.
We say a pizza customer. I consider a pizza customer a twice a month customer.
That's great.
Every other week.
That's fantastic.
So that's 24 visits a year. It's worth about $700, $800.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's more than what ours are. Our average order value is around 160 bucks, and so call it, for rounding, 2 times a year, it's 320 bucks. Our customer is only worth half as much as in the pizza. And so talk about customer loyalty and how important it is to build that relationship with them. Incredibly important, right? Because what's to stop them from going to the pizza shop down the street? Not much. It's pretty easy for somebody to switch. So you got to do a lot to retain and build that emotional connection with them. It's important.
And the biggest difference I would say is just having that extra 22 points of contact gives us 22 extra chances to screw it up. And when it comes to, and I teach and coach, when it comes to customer retention, like, there's no win and loss between us and the customer. The only time we win is when they come back. So
that's right.
Oftentimes, because what we're doing is highly stressful and the environment is stressful and mistakes happen.
Fast pace. Yeah.
It mistakes happen and people are emotionally tied to their food and to their work if they have a lot of pride in what they do.
So true.
And I've seen owners who throw customers out, and I'm like, you just threw $700 out the door. And it's like,
isn't that amazing?
Think about that. Like if you do you really want to win this argument over this pizza, this $6 pizza, or do you
Hmm.
want, or if you want to win that, write a check because that's what you just said.
Yeah. Totally, 100%. Yeah, we try to train our folks also in, you're right, inevitably mistakes happen. And honestly, if we're not making mistakes, what are we even doing? Like, we got to make some mistakes. We got to learn. And ideally, we're not making the same mistake more than once, but like, it's okay to make a mistake. But make that mistake an opportunity and like a chance to build the relationship even more with the customer. So, say, for example, we deliver the arrangement late. They wanted it between 2 and 3 p.m. It doesn't happen very frequently, but say we get there at 4 p.m. and they said, oh my God, it was for a birthday. The surprise was at 3 p.m. I wanted it between 2 and 3, so it came early, and it came at 4, and it was really a big letdown. We messed up. That's our bad, and so we need to own that first of all. And so we tell the customer, you're right, and you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna refund the delivery fee, and if they're not happy with that, we'll refund the full order. But we're not going to stop there. We're also going to send more flowers to you.
Yeah.
So you can still give the birthday person the flowers, but we're going to send some flowers to you. And we're not going to tell you we're going to do that, but we know where the address is, and we're going to send it to you as a surprise moment. And then not only that, we're going to put an additional $50 credit on your account. So now you have an incentive to reorder with us again.
Above
And
and
so we
beyond.
just went from fully losing that customer to providing them an 11 out of, and remember, we messed up, but now we have a customer for life because they understand that even when things do, hit the fan inevitably, they know that we're there to take care of it. And there's not many other flower shops that will, not many pizza shops, but I'm sure we'll do that either.
Are you getting pushback from the rest of the neighboring shops?
We really try to shine our own lamp. We don't look at the outside competition very much. And we became the number one flower shop in Los Angeles by maintaining that perspective, consistently challenging ourselves to be the best and not worrying about what everybody else is doing. Because if we consider ourselves number one right now, which I don't even know, it doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter because then we're going to become complacent. And if we can reimagine our processes and consistently make them better every single day, that's what matters. And it's about the customers, not about our competition. So I don't know. I have no idea what the outside competition thinks. We don't really look to them very often.
Do you feel like having corporately owned and operated stores helps you, stay ahead of the curve in that way, seeing it in real time?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of florist technology platforms out there and website providers. They'll build a website for you and take big commissions on any orders that go through. Anyways, there's a bunch of different, florist kind of support technologies out there that are okay. They're better than nothing, I will say, but they don't know what it's like to operate a flower shop. And that's really important. The fact that we own and operate flower shops, like we know what it takes. We've been there. When I took over this flower shop, I spent the night in the flower shop multiple times, like many, many times, really. And we did what it takes. There were times where we didn't know how to make payroll. We've been there. We had to ask our vendors for extensions. It's been many, many years since we've been in that position. Obviously, we've grown out of that, but like we know what it takes. And we understand the challenges and all of the hurdles that you have to jump to grow your business. And these tech platforms that only serve the floral industry but don't operate flower shops don't know that. And so it gives us a huge advantage. All the software we develop is like solving our own pain point, and then by extension, all of our franchise owners as well.
Was it hard to make that upfront commitment initially? I mean, I imagine after doing things for so long a certain way, when you present wholesale change, that comes with pushback, right?
Yeah. Whew. Oh God, does it? Yeah. So look, we have to, the only constant is change. We have to lean into that. And now more than ever, especially with technology, things are changing so fast. You have to embrace it. And I don't want to be the one that, leads with fear by any stretch of the imagination. But I will say, if you're not willing to kind of take a leap into the modern era of digital being as important as it is, there's a high risk of falling behind. And we talk to a lot of florists where they come to us and they say, hey, we really want your technology. We want to adopt, we want to do everything that you're doing. With our system, you have to become a French florist. You can't operate as Tyrell's flower shop anymore. It has to be French Florist. So it's a cohesive brand. And there's it's purely logical. FrenchFlorist.com, using that domain. Again, you have fully exclusive territory, but there's really high domain authority. The search engine optimization is really powerful. And if you're using TyrellsFlowerShop.com versus French Florist, you're going to do a lot better with FrenchFlorist.com. So there's a reason why we know our system works. And yeah. And so there's some tough conversations around, I want to do everything that you're doing, but I don't want to change my name. And a lot of times it's very emotions based, which is real. Is I can't discount that, but it's like, I don't want to lose my identity. This is how I've done it for the past 15 years. my identity is a part of this business. And the great thing about franchising is they're still the owner. It's still actually really still Tyrell's Flower Shop LLC. Now you're just doing business as French Florist. Like you're still the owner operator. It's still your business. It's your local community that you serve. But yeah, sometimes we have some pushback when we work with existing flower shops. There's a conversation to be had on, look, you don't have to change your name, but 4 or 5 years from now, you might be forced to change your name because the local competition came in and innovated when you stayed constant. So yeah, not to lead with fear, but that is a part of it.
Well, that's the reality. What is the biggest fear when prospecting up? Well, first, who's your ideal prospect, and what's their biggest fear when it comes to signing that franchise agreement?
Yeah, totally. Look, like our unit economics are really good. We have an incredible leadership team. I'm a very, very small part of our team, and we have incredible folks. I talk about the people are what makes up the business. And so when people come in and talk to us, I feel like we're able to instill a lot of confidence in what we're doing. We have an amazing track record, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. We have a to innovate and to push the boundaries and to never settle and provide an 11 out of 10 experience and go above and beyond. Like all the things that we've talked about, they're a part of our DNA and our culture. And when people come and visit us, they see that, and the numbers speak for themselves. But anytime you make a big decision, no matter how much information there is, you still have to take the leap. And that's a scary freaking thing.
It is.
It is down to we're humans, and there's emotions behind our decisions, and a lot of times we lead with our emotions. We all do, whether we like it or not, and we try to back it up with logic, but it's the emotional piece to it where it's always the challenging part. Is like if somebody's willing to take the leap, great. And honestly, to run a business, you all know you have to make a lot of decisions day in and day out, and if somebody takes too long to make a decision or make that leap, they might not be the greatest business owner. So we like I said, a lot earlier, it's a two-way street on the evaluation. We're looking at them and seeing how willing are they to take this information to make a decision. It doesn't have to be a yes. It can be a no. But if they're able to be stuck on a maybe, they're probably not going to be a great business owner. How decisive they are and how quick they can make a decision based on the information that they have. We like to see that they're able to make decisions quickly. So yeah, no, it's a very interesting. We look for folks that are really passionate. They're in it for the right reasons. Look, we understand that financials are a very important part of life, but we really look to understand like, okay, Tyrell, you're operating 30 pizza joints, you're making, $1 million in take home income, your kids are really happy, and then what? Then what? Like, what are you going to do with, maybe your kids have gone to college now, you have more time on your hands, you have all the money that you want, then what? Like that's the stuff that I want to get into. And if somebody's doing it purely for the money, you can make money in the floral industry. You can make money operating a pizza joint, but I want to understand like where are your values? Where do you want to spend your time? What do you want to do on this earth? And like, I like to dig a little bit deeper and understand. So we look for people's why. It's kind of the simple way of saying it.
Okay.
Why are you doing this? And we want to make sure that they're aligned with, living a life, not necessarily, fully dedicated to service, but that they want to do something good and positive with their lives, that they want to kind of fulfill their own potential that they have, and that there's more to it than just we want to make sure that the financials are a means and not an end. It's like, okay, once you have the financials, like, what are you going to do? And don't get me wrong. Like, if you ask me that, I'm going to say, if money is no object, which, again, it's important that financials are solid in everybody's life, but fun is a huge equation to it. If somebody comes to me, like I would say, like I want to go and travel, I want to go and surf and do all these crazy things. That's not a wrong answer. That's totally cool. I think like operating this business, you should be having fun. And if you're not taking a 3-week vacation to Japan or France or Hawaii or like wherever you want to go, like, what's the point? So
It's all
I love
about
it.
freedom and
Yeah,
time, and all we have is now.
yeah, but if they're making a decision that's like fully out of greed and whatnot, I don't know if they're able to provide an exceptional customer experience. So anyways, we look for the deeper reasons and make sure that's aligned with, the ultimately the consumers are the ones that get to show us who wins. It's not up to us. It's not up to our team. It's the customer that gets to decide who wins. So, we're just looking for folks that their why is aligned with basically providing a great customer experience.
I like it. It sounds like you're an extreme sports kind of guy too.
I grew up near the ocean. I grew up surfing, so the water is definitely my element. But otherwise, if you put me on anything else, any other mountain climbing or even like skiing, snowboarding, you're not going to want to see it.
I like a good challenge, but as
Yeah.
I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it's just not there anymore.
Yeah, swimming is great. I picked up swimming recently, and I picked it up because I think, like, yeah, as years roll through, I think it's just very therapeutic. And anyways, yeah, it'll be interesting.
So what's the future? What's the future like for French florists and the florist industry in general?
Yeah, we're really excited for it. I think there's a lot of people that are struggling in the floral industry. There's 30,000 flower shops across America, and more shops are closing down than ever before. And so it's a weird environment. I say it's weird because more shops are closing down than ever before, but the industry is growing. And so, like, how does that make sense? And so when you look closely at it, all that it means is the best players are doing the best and they're winning, and the worst players are kind of dying out quicker than ever. So there's a consolidation happening, and we just want to make sure that the local florist is not kind of shut down by huge corporations and the Amazons out there. We like that the industry is mom and pop owned. There's a special feeling in the floral industry that there's no one player that has the crazy dominant market share. And through franchising, it's a really powerful program where everybody stays the owner of the program. They're getting access to what a huge corporation would be able to do, but on a hyper local level with actual real owners that are contributing to their actual communities. So I hope, and that's the goal of what the future of the floral industry is that the dominant market player in the floral space is a franchise system, and not with huge investors or anything like that are coming in and owning like 700 shops. No, 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 no. We're only awarding single unit owner operators. If the owner does really well and we have a great time working together, sure, open up a second shop, maybe open a third shop, but that's pretty much it.
So no,
So
no
you can
territory agreements just yet.
no developer agreements, nothing like that. Yeah.
All right. How much input do you take from the franchisees?
Oh my God. I mean, talk about how, in a great franchise system, I think amazing ideas come from the franchise owners, and the best ideas will bubble to the top. So we're putting in something in place called the Franchise Advisory Council, and we'll have as many as 13 franchise owners on that council that represent the system at large. And so it's a great structure on how that works, and ideas get to be contributed to the Franchise Advisory Council.
1 year term, 2 year term?
Yeah, 2 year terms. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So exactly, it's almost like a governance structure, and the best ideas bubble to the top. So we think that local owners, first of all, know more than we do about their local territory, but also are really smart, and we don't want to discount that. And so, like, we're really good at what we do. Other people are really good at what they do too. So we want to put our heads together, and we want to make it 1+1 is greater than 2. So we lean into the advice and insights of our franchise owners very heavily, and it's a huge part of our system. And yeah, again, it's baked into our DNA, where it's like, again, I happen to be the face of the company as the CEO of the brand, but I'm a really small part of it, and it's the team that makes it so great. Yeah, I get to be privileged in the seat that I sit in and listen to all these great ideas, and help boost the ones that I think are the best. Ultimately, most of the ideas don't come from me; they come from our team.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you guys got a good thing going over there. Last question before I let you go. I'm a pizza guy, and you're in San Francisco,
Right
or
now,
you
based in LA based right now.
All right.
Yep.
So, favorite 3 pizzerias in LA?
Ooh,
Put
okay.
you on the spot.
No, it's totally cool. It's probably one of the hardest questions I'm gonna have to answer all day because
There's a
I'm a
lot of good
huge
pizza
pizza guy
in
too.
LA.
It's so true. I know. I love Prince Street Pizza. I know they're blowing up. It's really good. I think is that Chicago style pizza?
I think so.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't want to list one in LA. It's based in New York. It's called La Industry. Based out in I think it's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I heard of them. I just
Dude,
saw
yeah.
Alex visited there and did a video. They're like one of the best slices in New York.
Yeah, they're really good. So I'm gonna go out to LA, and I have to put them on the list. And then the third one, there's a local one. I think they only have maybe 5 or 6 locations. It's called Demores, and just the bottom of their crust is so good, and it's like so crispy and so good, and it just like holds the shape, and it's so good. So
All right, they're on my list. They're on my list.
yeah, but if you have any tips or recommendations, you guys are a lot more well versed in pieces, so would love to hear the pizza recommendations.
Oh, they'll probably send you some messages
Okay, awesome.
once they hear your list. But no, when
That's
I
awesome.
get to LA, man, I can't. We'll have to go get a slice or something together. We'll been doing some restaurant shows, so when we come out again, I'll make sure to hit you up and
Absolutely
share
amazing.
a slice of pizza.
I think probably the world's best date out there is just a really simple slice of pizza and buy some flowers with it. Like
Trying to tell
what more
you,
could you ask for?
it works
So
hand in hand.
pizza
We
and
got we
flowers.
got a lot of shops with space in our plazas next to us, so I think this is a good opportunity. And again, really appreciate you taking a deep dive with us and just giving us background on your business, your industry, and just the opportunity that it presents. We are not. You asked earlier. You'd like to know what it looks like in the pizza business. We are not that efficient from a technology standpoint. We're oversaturated and we are underserved. We're
Mm,
overserved with tools and tricks and all of these different things, but no one knows how to use any of it. And no one does
Yeah.
use it. So we're
Interesting.
overpaying for things that we never use. And I have been interviewing POS companies for the last 2 years. They're all the same. They're all the same. And it's turned into technology as a service model.
Totally.
And it is it's not helping us, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I have a feeling the best technology that's going to, be the winner at the end of the day is one that's developed by a pizza owner and
Yeah.
operator, because
And
that's going to be the best software.
And
You
the
guys know what
problem
you
is they
need.
try to create these one size fits all solutions, and every pizzeria operates so differently, whether it's a slice shop or a heavy casual dining experience or a delivery place. Like, we're all different, but they try to package every solution up, and I get it, it's tough, but someone's going to have to bite the bullet and develop something that's proprietary and great for what we need. But trust me, I've been looking, and it's driving me crazy because I've gone so far down the road with so many companies, and then you get to the end and it's like, oh, you're going to charge me for every one of those things.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, we've gone through such a journey on building our own technology, so it's a huge undertaking, but it has served us really well. So I wouldn't discount the opportunity that you guys have to build your own technology for yourself and stop paying these, tech companies $1,000 a month or whatever you're paying them, and spend a little bit of money, maybe like $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000, which is less than a year's investment on their stuff, and build your own system. Again, I'm not super well versed in the pizza space, but we had the same exact problem where we had so many technology offerings being offered to us, and we didn't like any of them because they didn't. Yeah, they were either too complex to use, or they didn't solve all the challenges, or they didn't do it in the exact way that we wanted it to, or they were really expensive. There were some that are great. They're just like wanted to
Could
charge us
afford it.
$80,000 a year, and it's like that's not going to
Like,
happen.
what am I going to get for a $599 a month support fee?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, anyways, for that amount of money, it is possible to develop your own system. You don't have to develop in the US either. You can go to Ukraine or India. Other countries have fantastic developers out there. So, I wouldn't shy away from that. Yeah, and if anybody ever wants to talk about software development, that is my background. That's what I love. I nerd out on that stuff. So, like, if anybody does want to reach out and talk about pizza software development stuff, I would love that.
I absolutely do. So I'll stay in contact with
Good.
you. Tell us how to
Okay,
find
good.
you, how to connect with French Florist. We got a lot of friends on the West Coast, in LA, all around
Okay, good.
California. So please tell us all how to order more flowers from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, personally, if you ever want to bounce ideas around, use me as a sounding board. I love that stuff. I've gotten advice from countless folks, and if it ever like helps to, have a sounding board, it's always fun for me to have conversations. You can email me directly. My email is michael@frenchflorist.com. Our franchise website is frenchfloristfranchise.com. And yeah, like seriously, don't hesitate if there's a spark of interest that came up during the conversation at all. Like, yeah, dive in. Life's too short, honestly.
We really appreciate you, Michael. And hey, I'll let you get back to your day. I know it's getting close to opening time for you out there. So
Yep, that's right.
I'll let you get to
Awesome.
work over there.
Thanks, Tyrell. Yep,
Thank you
hopefully we'll
so
be back on the
much.
podcast in a year. We'll give you some updates.
Yeah, absolutely.